Shalom. I like to say all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakah Kodesh. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of GMS, who are the true leaders of Israel today, and salutations to my Akim, who do this work in truth and sincerity, who are risking their lives and their freedoms to do so, as well as the scattered Israelites who come looking like the heathen but are not, by way of their forefathers' seeds who are Israelite men. The true name of the Most High is Yahweh, and his son's name is Yahushai, and the Lord's holy chosen people are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, as we're the ones who suffer under the curses in the book of Deuteronomy. This is your brother Yakalia from the GMS Jamaica Kingston camp, and Israel refuses to take their foot off of Iran's neck. And why is this? It's because of biblical prophecy, because Israel and Iran are major players in World War III, very major players, okay? And we're in the end of days, right? We're heading towards these endgame prophecies, the Mark of the Beast prophecy, which is a mark chip, and then as well, the World War III prophecy, the War of Armageddon, that is spoken about in Revelation chapter 16 and verse 16, and World War III is spoken about there as well, the third woe, okay? And with World War III comes the destruction of America, which is Mystery Babylon the Great, which means that when America is destroyed, Yahushai, or rather, Yahushai returns before America is destroyed, delivers the elect of Israel out of America, and then America's completely destroyed and annihilated, as it pertains to Isaiah chapter 13. And then we're in the kingdom, you know, we the Israelites, okay? Lord willing, I'm a part of those first fruits, okay? So what we're seeing each and every single day is the development heading towards these prophecies. This is what we look towards. First, the market chip, okay? The mark of the beast, that will come before the World War III, right? So Israel may strike Iran over atomic program. Israeli Defense Minister Benny Gantz suggested his country could launch a strike against Iran's nuclear program, calling it a global program at a conference on Tuesday. He also criticized the 2015 nuclear deal abandoned by the US in 2018 and the possibility of its revival, though the negotiations to that effect don't seem to be going anywhere. Iran is a global problem. It is not just Israel's private problem, Gantz said in Jerusalem during a conference hosted by Israel's Channel 13. We are able to seriously harm and delay the nuclear program, he added, when asked if Israel was capable of delaying Iran's progress towards creating an atomic weapon or stopping it outright. And the answer to that is no. Neither Israel nor her allies, which includes America and NATO, okay, none of them have the power to stop Iran from developing the nuclear weapons no matter what they do, because Yahweh Shemishai is in full control, and Yahweh Shemishai is going to allow the Iranians to be able to develop this weapon and use it against America, along with Russia and the rest of those allies as well that will be against the US and NATO. And then, as it pertains to Revelation chapter 16 and verse 17, America's own allies will also use the atomic weapons, not the atomic weapon, the ICBM missiles, right? The ICBM missiles, all of it to shoot at America. Okay, so there's no way that it can be stopped. So all we're seeing right here is just fluff, right? But what's most important is what, you know, what's happening in terms of moving towards biblical prophecy. That's what it's all about, man. Okay? And this level of tension that we've been observing, that I've been observing as well since I've come into the truth for the past couple of years with Iran and Israel, it keeps escalating and keeps escalating. And eventually it's going to hit the point where the state of Israel is going to make their move, right? The former head of the Israeli military, who was brought back into the caretaker government in June, negotiated that the nuclear deal insisted that the nuclear deal negotiated in 2015 was a bad agreement. Okay? The defense minister was also skeptical about whether US President Joe Biden could revive the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. I don't see any big indications of that at the moment, he said, conceding that it remained a possibility. I mean, at the end of the day, they're going to be going to war, man. So it doesn't matter. You see, when it comes to these prophecies, you look at these articles and you'll observe the times and you'll look at things and you'll see, the information come out and you're like, okay, this is what they're saying here. This is what they're saying there. This is what they're planning to do. Like sometimes it's like a false delusion, right? Because the article can give people a false sense of comfort that they're trying to make amends, that these world leaders are trying to make things really come together peacefully, but that's not what's happening at all. Every single day, relationships are being broken apart, okay, and things are getting worse. Iran responded to Trump's move by ramping up its nuclear research. The US now demands, etc. I want to get to a certain point. Though Gantz believes the Israeli military has the ability to strike Iranian reactors, former Prime Minister Ehud Barak is not as confident. In an op-ed for Time magazine on Monday, Barak admitted that Israel had destroyed Iraqi and Syrian nuclear research in 1981 and 2007, but that Iran was different. Right, because Israel will not be able to take on Iran by itself. And that's why we have this precept, man, in the book of Jeremiah, where it talks about the least of the flock, right? This is Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 45. Therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord Yahweh, that he hath taken against Babylon, which is America, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the land of the Chaldeans, talking about the Edomites, you so-called white people. All right, you rule this world. You're in your blessing right now, okay, and you are the wicked. Surely the least of the flock, referring to the Israelis, all right, to the small hats, shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them, right? The habitation is going to be desolate because they're going to lose. We know that, right? But the least of the flock, when they make a move against their enemies, which is Iran, first and foremost, that's who they put at the front, and then you have Russia, etc. behind that, they're going to draw out America. And they're going to draw out America, and they're all going to lose over there in the so-called Middle East. Okay, in the book of Joel chapter 2 and verse 20, it talks about it, man, where the location is going to be, right? And it says that their stink shall come up as well. So they're just going to lose, man. But Yahweh Hashem is going to put the Spirit upon them to go and do all of these things, because Bible prophecy has to be fulfilled. It's fulfilling right in front of your faces right now, every day, every minute, every second. Okay? We're living in it. All right? And we're going to, anyway. So that's what's going to happen, man. So they're going to lose. But let's see what else is going on here. Iran already has the technical means to produce a nuclear weapon, but has not made a decision to do so, etc. Okay. So that's just what's going on. And let's just move on. Salakio. Yeah, man, these are the times that we're in. By the way, other than this news, also from RT, EU members agreed to gas rationing. Okay, so due to the ongoing situation with Russia, Salakio. All right. The ongoing situation rather, between Russia and the Ukraine, we're all feeling it, right? We're feeling the inflation. We're feeling the gas prices increasing. The pockets are being hit. People are suffering out there. And it's just going to keep getting worse, right? But here it is that in the EU, because Russia has been such a supplier to the EU, they're, the way things are moving with it, they're not going to be getting that same supply anymore. It is being cut off. But let's just read a little bit of it. EU nations have found common ground on a controversial scheme to reduce gas usage in preparation for a possible complete stoppage of supplies from Russia. Diplomats have told German state news agency DPA, and over there in the EU, they already having problems with the gas. Some people out there living there, okay? But guess what? We're in the summer right now, so it's not really that bad, but the gas consumption goes up considerably in countries such as those because of the winter. Got to turn on the heat, right? Some members led by Hungary and Greece have expressed strong objections to the proposal. With the level of reliance on Russia, by the way, some members, right? What's that going on right there? The EU nations, okay? You have the European Union, which is the 10 horns that is spoken about, okay? And then you have the beast, which is NATO, all right? And they're all supposed to be one mind, and they're all supposed to be working together, but they're not. And they are divided. And in the scriptures, it says that what? If Satan be divided against himself, he cannot stand. And this is what is happening to these Edomites, man. Well, it's been happening to them for a hot minute. I mean, they're as it says in the book of Daniel, the kingdom is partly strong and partly broken. Okay? To paraphrase, But in the book of Luke, I want to go to Luke. Let's go to Mark 3:26. And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand but hath an end. And he is divided. Even over this issue right here, there's already disagreements from Hungary and Greece. So let's continue with the level of reliance on Russia gas varying between member states. The proposal by the European Commission had been met with criticism from many governments within the EU. The emergency plan will see member states voluntarily reduce their consumption of natural gas by 15% between August 2022 to March 2023. The hope is that the measure will help to soften the impact of a potential total stoppage in Russian gas supply. So it's going to happen. Okay, they just want to soften it because of all of the ramifications that are occurring, especially heading into the winter. And back in, I don't even remember which year, was it 2020, I think? They were talking about a dark winter. And that dark winter hasn't come as yet. I think we've been past 2 winters since. It could be this one though. Who knows? Who knows when it says that Yahweh Shemishah is really just going to ramp it up all the way. Okay? But we keep watch every single day. And we keep guard as well. Because you never know. You don't want to be caught out there. You know what I'm saying? What's the saying? You ain't got to get ready if you stay ready. Yeah, man. But anyway, the plan will likely be approved during a summit of EU energy ministers in Brussels later on Tuesday. So, this gas rationing thing, I'm not really entirely sure of what more is going to happen. How it is that from the EU they distribute gas. But what I'm foreseeing is just more trouble, more issues. Probably some gas prices. Maybe the EU isn't distributing some of their gas to some countries and they're suffering, and it's just a trickle effect, and it's like a web, right? Everything just becomes affected eventually, and this is the hell that you Israelites that don't believe in Yahweh Shemishah are going to be catching, man. The time of Jacob's trouble, okay? But overall, the Spirit really led me by way of this article. I saw this article as well and just decided to touch on it a little bit because this is important, man. It is important. But overall, that's just an update regarding Bible prophecy. And with that, I'd like to say all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Shemishai, by Shemachah Kodesh, Wa Abad, Babal, Shalom.